They're not smart. They have no aptitude. They have nothing going, and they're telling us how to run our country.
Andy, how you doing, man?
Not good, man. It's been a rough week. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like back during the first Trump term, I was kind of on edge the whole time, and this time I've done a better job of just taking the punches as they come, not really getting upset and worked up. I
We've
gotta
been
say,
laughing a lot. We've been
we've been
laughing.
laughing. I gotta say that's over for me. Okay, I'm really like I've been afraid of things Trump could do to our country that is irreversible, and he's done a lot. Just our standing in the world. But I gotta
I've,
tell you,
I've
right?
got a good segment on that later
Okay,
because
well,
I'm in the same boat as you. The last few days, I've been avoiding the news
well,
because it's been
I'll
pissing me off.
I'll say this. I don't think you're paying attention to the right news because now I'm freaked out even more. Okay. There is a solid chance that like the far left could take power in the midterms. And that's even worse than if Trump wins. We talked last time about Thanksgiving and Democrats want to take away Thanksgiving. They already took Christmas. It's been upsetting for me. Okay. On top of that, it's hot. I don't know if you noticed, I'm a hoodie kind of guy.
Andy, what color was Jesus? Or what color was Santa? What color was Santa? That's what I'm going
Santa and Jesus were both white for the record with blonde hair and blue eyes. They
to
had impressive physiques. No,
From the
and
Middle East, huh?
dude, that's your interpretation. But like on top of everything, like are you going through the heat wave that most of the US is going through right now?
Yep.
It sucks out. It's been 100 plus degrees in Oklahoma for I think for the past week, and it's supposed to be like this for 15 more days or something. It's we just had July was the hottest month in the US since records began in 1895. Like if I didn't have air conditioning, I would be dead right now because I don't operate well in heat. I'm wearing a hoodie and it's August in Oklahoma. But now Thanksgiving was one thing, and you and your people want to take away my air conditioning, docs. I'm not going to stand for this. Okay. I was watching what seemed like a really talented woman tonight on TV, and she said, "You're coming for my air conditioning." And if you don't believe me, I brought a clip.
Now, the bottom line on socialism, it never changes. They're preparing to come for everything you have: your home, your car, your air conditioning, your 401k, and yes, your factory. They want it all because you don't deserve any of it. You don't deserve the fruits of your labor because, by definition, they arose out of the corrupt capitalist system.
Yeah, I agree completely, Andy. You don't deserve air conditioning.
Why are you trying to take
You
my stuff? Why are you're trying to take my factory? My factory, my air conditioning, my car, Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Wait,
Let's
what
just
factory do you have?
I don't she said you're going to take my factory. I don't know. Laura Ingram's never lied to me once, okay? And now they're throwing. We talked about this last time, but they're scared. They're throwing a lot against the wall.
Yeah.
Real quick before we do anything further, I've told you the Senate is a pipe dream. Like I really don't think Dems can take the Senate. The House, yes, but the Senate, I don't know. Nate Silver, who has been kind of he's people say he's kind of MAGA-y. I don't think he is, but he's realist, and he'll say, "Hey, like in the Kamala Trump election, he was saying the whole time, like, hey, Trump's probably going to win this by a tiny margin," and everybody hated him for that, but he was right. Here's his latest polls.
Okay.
So he's got this right now at the Dems taking the Senate 51-49. He
And
to have him
destroying the
saying that
house, huh?
they're saying Texas is lean D now. Um, really, Ohio is a toss up, but everything I'm seeing, Ohio looks like it could very well go Democrat. Dems might, and I'll tell you, Republicans are seeing all of this because, man, like Fox News this week has been crazy. They're trying to they're trying to scare people into voting Republican, which, I don't think they would lie to us, but something's going on here. I don't really know what's going on.
Yeah, they're trying to rile the base, man.
Yeah, they're using the
Sure.
same old scare tactics. Just, the
I mean,
Dems
what's
want to take
next?
away
There's
everything.
gonna They started with the caravan again, remember? I
Yep.
haven't heard about the caravan
So
since a month,
the
but
the caravan is their playbook, but right now they're saying the one good thing Trump has done is shut down the border, so they can't use the caravan right now because that would take away from the one good thing Trump has done. So they
okay.
had to reach back into the whole they're trying to take away Christmas. Now we got Thanksgiving. But my car, my air conditioning, and my factory, docs, you guys have gone too far.
Nobody wants your air conditioning, Andy.
I'm sorry. Okay, well, I'm not gonna let you have it. Like the whole like in Texas, the flag "Come and Take It," with the cannon. I'm gonna
Yeah,
have a "Come and Take It" flag hanging outside my
for the
house with
air
my air
conditioning
conditioning.
unit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Um, And then the only other thing I wanted to cover real quick is the reflecting pool brought me a lot of joy over the past couple of weeks. He didn't do it on camera, but this is from ABC. Everybody was covering this on Sunday. I think he was talking to reporters on the phone. You know how he just calls them randomly on Sundays to talk to reporters? Well,
Yeah.
this story came out everywhere. President Trump acknowledged on Sunday that there is no video or proof of alleged vandalism to the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool after weeks of claiming that the damage to the pool surface was the deliberate work of saboteurs. So at some point, he called reporters and did admit that he does not have video or proof of this, but he still thinks it happened. So
There's just so much, man.
you
I
haven't
was
been
thinking
as
about this today, and it's like there's so much. They flooded the zone, so much shit that we're not even talking about. We're forgetting about the Epstein. We forgot about the Epstein. We haven't talked about the Epstein files.
they're gone. Whereas that's not even.
And the fact that there's a 14-year-old girl who has like who went didn't she go like was it 4 times she was interrogated by the FBI?
If you're talking about, I believe the alias used is Katie Johnson is the name that it's not a real name, but it's the name used. And yeah,
Okay.
she apparently she was all this was like in the 90s or 80s. I can't remember. This was a while ago. And right before this was gonna like go to him getting indicted, she went away and said she didn't want to pursue charges anymore. Very much seems like she got paid off. But yeah, she was 14 and claimed that there was inappropriate stuff done to her by the current president of the United States. But it seems like there was a
I
pay.
heard somebody reading it the other day, and apparently they were having this was like one of those parties where they bring in all the girls and all the guys bid on them.
I don't know if it was that, but it seemed like it was a lot of models got brought into it. All of those Epstein things seemed like it was a whole bunch of models would show up. They were told it's a party, and then they'd get there, and there'd be like 5 or 6 old billionaires there, and like immediately they were like, "What is this? This is not the party I thought I was going to."
Nobody's been arrested.
Nobody. That's like I said. That's long gone, buddy. Like that's not being talked about at all. Hopefully, the Dems can bring that back and make that a midterm issue, and say, hey, if they take the Senate, they can force the DOJ to release more stuff. I don't know something, but right now, that's nowhere near the front of the headlines.
I feel like that evidence is all gone. It's all
It's
just
been destroyed.
destroyed. Yep,
Yeah.
burned, bagged, and out of sight.
Yeah. Well, I realize that you haven't been as excited about the reflecting pool as me. I don't know why. That just because Trump had to admit that he was lying, like that makes me happy. And so the theme of the reflecting pool is the
Wait,
theme
he
of,
admitted he was lying?
well, he admitted that there's no video, no proof. He thinks he has a hunch that they did it, but he kept saying there was proof, and now he had
did,
to
or his
admit,
lawyers admitted it?
he admitted it apparently on Sunday. I don't know if
Oh.
you heard the thing I just read, but he was calling reporters on Sunday, and he admitted that he has no video and no proof that anybody sabotaged the pool.
Okay.
So
Sorry,
that
I
makes
was
me happy.
so
And
zoned out there.
you're good. The whole the whole reason I like this story is we talked about it, but this kind of it's like the same playbook that happens with every event in Trump. Like he makes up a bold-faced lie. There's evidence that he's lying, but then he doubles down on it, and like there's a pattern. And like
Yeah.
in the reflecting pool case, like he could have let this go a long time ago, and everybody would have moved on, but he kept talking about it. That brings us to the Air Force One debacle in Turkey a month ago. I think it was on July 8th. July 8th. What is that? A month and 5 or 6 days ago. Now, if you remember, the story was he flew in his new Qatari gifted Air Force One to Turkey. And then right before he was going to leave, he said, "Oh, I sent my new Air Force One to England so that the troops could look at it because he wanted the troops to be able to see it. So he's going to fly in the old one." And then quickly, all the reporters started saying, well, it's because there was a threat against him or the plane, and the new Qatari Air Force One does not have the defense capabilities that the old Air Force One had. And that seemed to make sense. He wouldn't let that go. He sued the New York Times. He subpoenaed all their reporters, and this was like First Amendment issues. And luckily, the DOJ, I think a week ago, did drop all those subpoenas. They were going to get thrown out by a judge, but like he was insistent that no, there was no threat against me. Well, have you heard the most recent, like what happened that day? He didn't even fly out on any Air Force One. Have you heard about this?
All I heard was he like escaped in a like a
A smaller plane, yeah.
he said okay, a smaller
So
plane.
we have
Like they
video.
snuck him out through some kind of cart and they
We-
put him
we
on a
have-
smaller plane.
We have video of them sneaking him out, believe it or not. But the headline here, An elaborate ruse. Trump secretly used military jet to leave Turkey amid threats. President Trump hid in an airport catering cart and was taken to a military jet for a secret flight out of the country after the NATO summit last month. Now, people are fired up about this. The reporters, though, if you think about this real quick, he went on to Air Force One. He went up the ramp. Let's watch the video here in a second because this will kind of show you how he did it. But he made everybody think he was on Air Force One. And then we all watched Air Force One take off, assuming that the president, the press, his aides, military aides, Marco Rubio was used as a decoy, which is the best part of this story. But here's how they pulled it off. So that's him walking in Air Force One there. He's waving at the crowd. He walks in. Now, if you look below the plane, a little bit to the right, there's a truck pulled up. It's in a box right there. That's one of those catering trucks that has like a scissor lift on the back and lifts like the whole bed of it lifts up to the height of the plane to where they can walk right in and out of it and bring food in. So the press is getting on the plane at this fort. He's in the catering truck now on the left. They've got him in it. They lowered it. They've pulled it around, and now they're raising it up to the plane behind his, a military plane. So he went in, and apparently as soon as he went in, did a hard right, I'm going to say sprinted, but walked fastly back there, exited the plane, got in the box truck, went down, drove him around. The whole time, everybody thought he was on board, apparently including Marco Rubio. The media is very upset right now because they're saying, oh, so they let the Air Force One fly out of there thinking there was a credible threat against that plane full of journalists, Marco Rubio. Like, the journalists are pissed about this. They were used as a decoy, pretty much, is what they're saying.
Yeah, I would be too.
Understandably. The craziest part, there was reports at the time that the journalists were told they had to have all their window shades down, and they thought that was weird. The quote from Trump, he said, asked why reporters had been instructed to lower their window shades on the plane in Turkey, Trump said that it was because you're probably on a dangerous flight because of the sleaze bags that we have to deal with. Trump said that he has a threat all the time against his life and that he is number one on Iran's list. Here's the key quote. But if I go, you go, right? Trump suggested to reporters, perhaps someday you'll want to change professions. So he basically told them, like, hey, I made the trip, so you guys should have the guts to make the trip, is what he told them afterward when they landed in England, okay? He wasn't even on the plane. Now, believe it or not, there is history of this happening before. The most recent time is in 2000. Bill Clinton was flying from India to Pakistan, and that's a dangerous spot for the president to be flying. So they snuck him out on a different plane. But what they did in that situation is they brought 3 reporters with them, and they call it embargoing the information. They told the reporters, hey, here's what's happening, but this is embargoed until we touch ground safely, and then you can report it all. And then they flew him over there. Story got out. From every former Secret Service person, like, what they should have done is not flown the regular Air Force One out of there until it was established the president was out of the country. So they could have easily said, hey, there's a security threat against Air Force One. We're going to hold up at the airport for a little bit here. During that time, fly him out on a different plane and then show him on camera on the ground in England. Hey, look, we just snuck president out. There was a threat. We got him out. And then everybody knows he's not there anymore and you can fly the real Air Force One out. At minimum, once this was over, like, there's a long-standing tradition. The press is supposed to accompany the president everywhere. Like, when he's at the White House, there's the press like in a room in the White House. And when he's at Mar-a-Lago, there's press in a room there. If he goes to his golf course, he has to take the press pool with him. Like, I don't think it's a rule. I don't think it's a law, but that's the way we do things in America. The president is our employee. The press needs to keep tabs on him. So for him to fly away from a country with no press is wild, first of all. But
Can
also,
you say that one line just a little bit louder for me?
What's that?
The president is our...
He's our employee. We're his boss.
President is our employee. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So, anyhow, at the minimum, as soon as he got there, they should have disclosed to the public what happened. But they didn't want to. And here's the fun part of this. They didn't want to because they thought it might make Trump look weak. He was hiding in a catering cart from Iranians, okay? Now, I'll say this. Anytime a president has a threat against him, like, he needs to listen to the Secret Service, and the Secret Service need to get him out of that threat. So had this been any other president, I have no problem with this, other than letting the journalists and Marco Rubio fly out of there. It turns out tonight, I just learned this 20 minutes before we started. Maggie Haberman with the New York Times found out what the threat was. They had spotted somebody with a shoulder-launched surface-to-air missile somewhere near that airport. Like, and apparently they knew at the time that the Iranians knew exactly where Trump was staying and on what floor he was staying on. So it was a credible threat for sure. I have no problem with them sneaking him out. But letting Air Force One take off, and the way they did it is they had the Qatari Air Force One take off first, and then about 4 hours later, they loaded everybody up and acted like Trump was on the plane, then took that Air Force One off. And only after both of those two had taken off safely, then Trump flew out on the little military plane. So had that plane got blown up, like had a surface-to-air missile hit that plane, and anyhow, you can see why everybody's upset.
Why is Trump in Turkey?
He went to Turkey for negotiations about Iran, I believe. It was kind of a NATO summit, but he went there specifically because of the Iranian negotiations and whatnot.
Okay.
So, which, that was for the MOU, which lasted 10 days, maybe. Yep. So, anyhow, it begs the question, like, how bad is the war really going? Like, we didn't feel safe flying our president out of Turkey. Turkey's a NATO ally. Like, I thought we destroyed their military. Like, he keeps saying that their military is completely destroyed, yet we had to sneak our president out of Turkey. Like, that's a little weird. Did you see the pictures of him golfing this weekend in Bedminster?
No.
I thought this was AI at first, and it's not. Mind you, this is at his club, okay? He is golfing, and there is razor wire and then a surface-to-air missile truck defending him while he plays golf.
Whoa.
How afraid are we of Iran taking a shot at the president right now? Like, I'm guessing that's to defend from drones. Like, that would make sense to me, is they're afraid of a drone incursion on his golf course. But
that thing can't really get drones, right?
I don't know.
Hard time stopping drones. That's for missiles.
I don't know. But the fact that that's Bedminster, and I'm guessing whenever he goes to Mar-a-Lago next, they will have him at his Doral course. That's not AI. That is 100% a real picture.
Oh my gosh, man. He started it.
Well, that's the thing is everybody needs to remember, and I'm not saying here, I want to make this very clear. I hope that nothing happens to the president of the United States ever, no matter which side it is. I don't want anything to ever happen to our president. But let's remember, the very first thing we did to start this war was we killed their leader and his whole family. Okay. And now it's like, oh my God, can you believe Iran might be trying to go after the president? Well, yeah, I'm sure they would love to get the president. That would make so much sense. We killed their leader and most of their government in the first 30 seconds of this war. Of course, of course they would like to get him. I guarantee you, they're scheming constantly with how can we get America back for this.
Yeah.
So, and then,
yeah, and if you do, okay, let's say they do get our president. Do you think JD Vance would be in office after that?
If something like, let's say that they were successful and Iran takes out the president of the United States, we will be boots on the ground in Iran within a matter of days. Like, and JD Vance doesn't want to do that, but oh man, like the Warhawks in Congress would be demanding it. MAGA, 30% of the country that's left is MAGA, would be demanding it. Like, there's no way not to at that point. So it would be bad. Like, if they succeeded, that would lead to, if we didn't do ground troops, it would be like nuclear stuff. Like, we would definitely strike back.
How many leaders have we taken out so far?
Of theirs, like 30 or 40, I think. Something that's probably a low estimate.
Oh, okay.
We got like 30 of them.
We got Venezuela.
We just got their president and then a lot of their army guys that were trying to defend their president, but we kidnapped their president. We've kind of, here's the deal. We went in and kidnapped the leader of a different country, and then we also started a war by assassinating the leader of Iran. And now we're like, oh my God, can you believe that somebody might want to take out Trump? Well, yeah, we've said this is okay. Like again, I don't want it to happen, but America has said that this is fair game. Like, you can go after the leader. It's totally fine.
Dude, Venezuela. Okay, so the money for Venezuela, Trump was just interviewed, and he basically said that it's his money. He's going to do whatever he wants. He's going to help the Republicans through his own pact to help the Republicans in the midterms.
He's bragging like he said just recently. He said, "Oh, the war has paid for itself 10 times over. To the victor go the spoils." Well, no, it's a war crime to go to war with a country and steal their natural resources. Like, that's not allowed.
Yeah.
The entire world has agreed that's not allowed, and he's bragging about the fact that we're doing that with Venezuelan oil, and nobody cares. Nobody can do anything to stop him, which is the key point. So,
I
and
saw this guy today. I think he was in Denmark or Switzerland, and he was waving their flag, but he was with a blowhorn. He was talking to people, and he was just like, "Hello, I'm American, and I apologize for Donald Trump." And he would just
I love that. Real quick, I showed you that photo that is not AI from Trump's golf course. This is petty, but I have to point this out. Donald Trump, when he was there, played with Gary Player, who he was a PGA player. I feel like when I was little, if you would ask me, I would have said he's probably still not alive, but he is, and him and Trump golf together. And Trump posted a photo of them in the golf cart together. I want you to take a look at this. You know how teenage girls, and not, I don't even want to say teenage girls, most women use filters, those Instagram filters, and you can tell instantly that, like, oh, that's a lot of That's not even filters. That's AI right there, right? Like, that's not like
yeah.
he filtered an image. So he posted that, yeah, with the great Gary Player today at Bedminster. He looks pretty good there. Well, let's take a look and see what he really looked like. Open up Gary Player 2.
How did we get this one?
This is not
Oh my
Photoshop.
God.
This is not Photoshop. This was Trump and Gary Player. This was taken on the same day.
Whoa.
I wonder why he had AI do one.
His face is like full of spots.
Apparently, it was really hot out there too, so he was sweating. You can see his face is glistening.
Yeah.
At first,
Why is it so hot, Trump? Why is it so hot out there? Could it be global warming? You fuck.
anyhow, that's petty. But when I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, that's totally AI." And then I saw this photo, and it's like, "Oh, I see why he did the AI." You couldn't even filter this and make it look better. His eyes are barely open. Yeah, he's without the makeup on. He looks very different. Is all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. That's yeah, he definitely ran that through AI to make himself look better.
Yeah. So other than that, so the war is not going well. And by the way, Iran has shot at boats in the Strait of Hormuz like almost daily for the past couple weeks, and we're not shooting back at all. They haven't hit any of our bases in the last 7 days, which is fun. But even when they hit our bases recently, we didn't shoot back. They're just striking things, and we're not fighting back at all, which is weird unless we're out of missiles. It seems like we might be out of missiles. Is all I can think here. So. I don't know. Also, this is just fun for me. Pete Hegseth. If you pay attention to when he does interviews now, like I think the kids would call it being yeeted out. Is that the right? He's yeeted out. What does that mean? Does that mean he's on
Say that again?
yeeted? Yeet.
Oh, yeeted?
Yeah, if somebody's yeeted out, what would that mean?
Like coked up?
Okay, then I'm using this correctly.
That's where I went with it, yeah.
So Pete looks like he something's going on with him, and he's either on some amphetamines. I don't know what's going on. But this is another petty video. I just want to get out of the way real quick. This is Scott Bessent talking, but pay attention to Pete Hegseth in the background. This only takes 10 seconds.
And the first C-17 to come to Charleston Air Force Base was called the Spirit of Charleston.
Did he just wipe his nose and then immediately run it through his hair?
Yeah.
Just odd.
Yeah.
He doesn't look well. He was dripping. Like just Scott Bessent was not sweating at all that day, and Hegseth was just liquid. Like he was glistening. His hair was wet. It was really weird. I think the guy's on something. I'm just saying. Allegedly.
Yeah, I'd like to see more of that, but he definitely seemed like he was yeeted out.
Next time you see him, he was on the Sunday morning shows, I think on ABC last week, and he looks weird, man. He's not doing well. Either he's yeeted out or the stress is really getting to him. It could easily be either of those.
Well, probably both.
Probably.
He's probably self-medicating from the stress.
I think so, yeah. Remember during World War II, there were all these talks that like Hitler and like the entire German army was on like early versions of cocaine, if I know correctly, like
amphetamines, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and I feel like that's like we're taking a page out of that playbook, and
it fits the bill.
It wouldn't be
It
shocking.
walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck.
Just saying.
It probably swims like a duck too.
Yeah. I got one. I'm excited to hear what you brought tonight, but I got one thing to finish up on as far as this Iran stuff goes. But Israel, first of all, I said the word Israel. Nobody's going to see this. Donald Trump and the Board of Peace. We made fun of the Board of Peace a couple weeks ago because we were like, we haven't heard anything out of them. But the Board of Peace announced like 7 to 10 days ago that they've reached a deal to disarm Hamas and peace in Gaza and all this stuff. And it almost seemed too good to be true. Well, good news, Israel is not going for it.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said on Sunday that Israel would reject the 15-point proposal for peace in Gaza put forward by President Trump's Board of Peace. Okay.
So
of course that's going to happen.
Yeah, they're not going for it. They want to keep demolishing Gaza. Now, the reason I bring this up is something really fascinating happened with the Israel side of things going on in the Middle East right now. Trump's whole goal with all of this, and this is real important for people to understand, but by knocking out Iran, right now, Iran and Saudi Arabia are kind of fighting to see who's going to be the power in that region, who's going to be the big boy on the block. And Iran has had the upper hand. Part of the reason, and there's a lot of reasons, but part of the reason he wants to take out Iran is because he wants Saudi Arabia to be the most powerful country in that area and kind of lead everything. And at the same time, he's trying to normalize relations with Saudi Arabia and Israel. He knows there's no way to make that part of the world, the Middle East, friendly with Israel. But if he can get Saudi Arabia on board and they're kind of the leader of that area, he thinks it'll be a trickle effect and other countries will follow. So that's been the goal here.
That's Donald Trump.
Donald Trump's been trying to get, I'm sure Israel wants that too. Israel's been.
Hold on. You think Donald Trump actually had a plan like that?
No, I think probably the Zionists in his administration had that plan and convinced him it was a good idea.
Okay.
But like he signed a deal, what was it, for chips or something like a week or two ago with Saudi Arabia. And then after they signed the deal, he came back and said, oh, and also they have to sign the Abraham Accords. If they don't do that, then no deal or something along those lines. And the Abraham Accords is normalizing relations with Israel. Saudi Arabia is not for this. And he's been trying everything he can. Like that's the big fish. If he can get them to sign on, he swears the rest will follow. On that note, Israel has been saying pretty openly that Turkey is the next hostile actor in the area that we have to worry about. And Turkey's a NATO member. We've talked about this. Like if they attack Turkey, what happens from there? Well, this is borderline hysterical and is not getting any coverage, and it really deserves to. Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, and Turkey agreed to a NATO-style mutual defense pact. Now, if you're Israel, this is the worst news. You're trying to get Saudi Arabia on your side, and you're trying to convince everybody that Turkey's the problem when we need to go after them next. Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Pakistan just signed a defense alliance. An attack on one is an attack on all. So if Israel tries to attack Turkey by this pact, Saudi Arabia has to attack Israel in response, and so does Pakistan. That neutralized Israel. Israel cannot attack Turkey at this point. No way, no how. And the couple times it's been brought up is that people are like, oh, well, this is going to be interesting for Iran. Now, if Iran attacks, no, that's not why this was signed. Like that has almost nothing to do with why this was signed. This was a direct shot at Israel and kind of at Trump. This is Saudi Arabia saying, hey, we can't rely on America to protect us over here. So they're making their own deals. And same thing's happening over in the Southern Pacific right now. China and North Korea, it's cozying up to China. But we're totally stepping back off the world stage.
Wait, China and North Korea?
Sorry, South Korea. North Korea and China are already allies. They already do trade.
And that's because we had South Korea. South Korea they were our buddies. We've had South Korea for a long time, and now they're going to China because we took all of our defensive weapons out of there.
So we spent over 50 years, and our whole plan to contain China was to get all the other countries over there to be our buddies, to get North or South Korea, Japan, even Vietnam. We put a lot of time and money into, and that's our goal, is to kind of isolate China. And now, I want to be clear, South Korea and Japan haven't left us for China, but now they kind of have one foot in each door. Like they're still cool with us, but they're also cool with China, and we spent years and money and resources to make sure this didn't happen. And now it's happening, and you can't blame them. Like clearly they're going to go to China for stuff.
And there's only one person you can blame.
Yeah, it's all the actions of our current president. Oh, last thing, and then you're going to get to go. But also the yen. We talked about how America bought $7 to $10 billion of the yen to try to stabilize it, because if we don't, they're going to start selling all of our T-bills and crash our dollar. Well, Guess what? That didn't even work. This is from the
So
Financial
this is the
Times.
second country we've bailed out.
Yeah,
Because
Argentina we bailed out first, and now we're bailing out Japan. But from the Financial Times, the yen sinks as effective U.S.-Japan intervention fades. Currency gives up roughly half of its gains from joint action, with investors citing lack of unified voice among central banks. So we kind of stabilized the yen for a couple days, and now the yen is falling again. So that's that. If you're looking at possible economic catastrophe to happen, like it's going to start there. I'm just warning you. And maybe everything will be fine. Maybe we'll buy more of the yen with what money? I don't know. We're going to borrow money from other countries to save the yen, is what's happening basically.
But that doesn't seem like that's even economically like a smart economic move to bail somebody out. You don't just give them money. You actually like build up their like this is the thing that we're going through right now. You don't just give out money. You build up a society so that it can create its own money. And
So
this is fucking Scott's percent.
So we did that years ago, and I think was it Clinton? Maybe it might be Clinton, but it was called TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. I think Clinton started it, and then Obama built on it. But the theory was, hey, we need all these other countries over there to not fall into China's influence. So let's try to create a trade structure with them that's beneficial to them. Because even though it kind of costs us, it's going to help prop them up, which is good for us in other ways. So it's kind of you got to give a little here to get a little there. And Trump steps in and goes, "Oh, TPP is awful. Like, why are we helping these countries out? Let's cut them off." He does away with TPP, and now we're curious as to why they're playing footsie with China because we stopped. It's pretty dumb. So tell me something to brighten my day, Docs. What do you got for us
Oh, I
tonight?
don't have anything to brighten your day, bro.
It's bad.
So the news was really getting to me, and I was like, I'm not gonna watch the news for a little while. So I cut off the news. I wasn't really paying attention, but I was going on Instagram and I was scrolling through Instagram. That was how I was killing my time instead of watching the news. And gee Louise, they caught on to my algorithm within 30 minutes. And they just started sending me the most horrific shit that this administration is doing to our environment, to our country, to our public lands. I mean, it might be all the people I follow, but
I gotta ask real quick because last episode I made a comment about you getting all your stuff off of Instagram, and you were very offended. And you were like, "I don't get my news off of Instagram." But if I'm not mistaken, you're saying that the beginning of what you're about to talk about was inspired by Instagram.
Instagram.
Okay, I just wanted just for the record.
But I mean, this is legitimate shit.
It could be, but again, this came from where?
This came from Instagram.
Okay, just checking.
Shut up.
You were very offended last time when I said that you get your news off Instagram. I'm just throwing it out there. Sorry, sir. Please continue.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Well, hold on. Now you got me all messed up over here. Where's my shit at?
I'll cut this out for you so it looks clean.
All right. So last week we talked about bear's ears, right?
Yeah, Bears Ears and Grand Escalante.
Maybe a couple times ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was the first thing, and this is what Trump did this in the first term. He cut bear's ears, not as much as he did this time. Cut bear's ears and Escalante, and I guess Biden overturned it, right? As soon as he got in
Yes.
office, he overturned it. Back to normal. Everybody's happy. You know, this is like these are sacred grounds for the Native Americans.
hmm
And these are also public lands where we can go and hike and camp. And I don't know if you can hunt there, but we can utilize this land for our own. This is our land, all of our land. And here, I'm going to share this photo with you. This is Bears Ears,
All right.
the original boundaries. I mean, this is less than a fourth of
So
what it was.
the green is all that's remaining.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. That looks like Israel and Palestine over the years.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. He just took away a little. He just chopped a little off the
Oh
top.
my gosh, it pisses me off.
Yeah. Sacred
Okay.
land, buddy.
I gotta figure out a better way to do this because these aren't in order like they were. All right, I'll just scroll. So then I went down this rabbit hole where now they chopped down. They're building the border wall in Arizona and Texas right now. And
I've seen videos of them bulldozing trees and whatnot at Big Bend, and it's upsetting a lot of people.
yeah, and that's the last one I want to talk about because that one's the one that one's the actual one that got me started on this,
Okay.
uh, down this rabbit hole. And so over 200-year-old cottonwoods, these are like the people in that region, that is where they go, right? This is their spot. Hey, meet me by the cottonwoods. We're gonna have a picnic by the cottonwoods. We're gonna bring our kids to the cottonwoods. Let's meet at the cottonwoods for a bike ride. Whatever. Like this is where they go, and this is what they're doing to it. They're just ripping them up to build
Yeah.
a fucking border wall.
Not just a wall, but wherever there's a wall, there has to be a road on each side of it, apparently. So,
There's to be
yeah,
a road on each side of the border wall.
apparently so. You
And
can't.
this is another thing. These motherfuckers, these are Saguaro cactuses, and they are 150 to 200 years old. This is what they look like.
Yeah.
Normal. Giant cactus. They take 200 years to grow. This is what they're doing to them. They're chopping them down to build a fucking road along this stupid border wall. Okay.
Upsetting.
Dude, I woke up pissed off this morning.
I'll bet. And that's what
Uh,
real quick, it always confuses me because like our old group of buddies, like we were very outdoorsy people. We went hunting, we went fishing, like we spent time in nature. And to me, this kind of stuff, whether you're left or right, this should upset all of us. And we have several buddies that are like, "Man, I'm fine, whatever." And I'm just like, how is this not bothering you? But well, okay. I
Yeah,
don't.
I mean, if you're a hunter, it really destroys. And like, just think about this. Like, you probably have a neighborhood park where you take your daughter to, and it's nice, right? Or soccer field, or disc golf course, or whatever. If they decided they were just gonna, bulldoze that and put up a factory on your disc golf course, wouldn't you be mad?
Yeah.
But this is happening across the country, so it's not like I would like to go to Escalante and Bears Ears, and I probably will one day, but I don't have any plans for it. But but the people that live in and around that area are the people who utilize that to its extreme, right?
Yep.
And you're pulling this from everybody. This is another one. This is the duck factory.
The duck
These
factory.
are giant wetlands. They call it the duck factory. They're basically prairie potholes that fill with water, and millions of ducks hatch there each year.
Okay.
The U.S. Fish and Wildlife changed the rules that allow this area to be drained for development.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, I know I don't care about ducks. No, I'm just joking. That sucks, man.
You've been duck hunting with me, right?
Yeah, I actually that's my favorite kind of hunting is duck hunting.
It's super fun. This is
Yeah.
going to destroy duck hunting. And look how big that area is.
Yeah.
It's insane how I don't know.
That's
That
what is
pisses
that?
me
Most of Minnesota? It's like 75% of Minnesota.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And North Dakota, most of North Dakota, goes into Iowa and South Dakota. Yeah, beautiful area up there in North Dakota. I've been there. So
Well, and do you have anything on the Texas border? Because I had a couple stats that I won't remember correctly, but do you have anything on that on Big Bend?
yes, I do. Let me finish this up. The only
Okay.
thing that's good about this part is that Ducks Unlimited I think they have a huge lobbying budget, and I think they're on it. That's where I saw this one was Ducks Unlimited.
Okay.
And I believe I hope that they can like put some pressure on the administration to not allow this to happen. But we should be fighting all of this. Like this is our fucking land, man. Did you see that Nevada? The BLM just approved a warehouse style AI data center on with no environmental review.
Sounds
So
like Nevada to me.
which is completely illegal, completely against the law. Every time you do something like that, you have to have an environmental review before you do it. And that is to protect the wildlife. And I mean, Einstein said if all the bees go, we're gone.
Yeah, the pollinators.
nothing to pollinate. And we're just heading in that direction with like the smartest people in the world are screaming at the top of their lungs, "Hey, this is stupid. This is bad. Don't do this." And the Trump administration is just like, fuck it, money,
Yeah.
money, money, money. All right, now on to Big Ben, plowing through the fucking wilderness, the untouched wilderness. This area. Have you been to Big Ben?
I have not. I've always wanted to, but I've not been out there.
This is Big Ben. This is the river.
Yeah. Did you take that shot? I feel like you did.
No, I didn't take that
Okay. You've
one.
got something like that, I believe.
Yeah, I've never been on the river in I've been on the river in Big Ben, but I've never been in a kayak on Big Ben.
Gotcha.
But it is gorgeous, high desert. And it's gonna take a lot of bulldozing to build a wall across the mountains because this is what it looks like. And they're building a wall on our side of the river.
Can you make those
Environmentalists,
any? Can you make those any bigger?
yeah,
Okay, because I can't see any of that.
sorry.
There you go.
And it looks like 14 counties along the border are actually like talking to Homeland Security Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen, but he's not gonna do anything. He didn't give a fuck.
Well, and I saw there was a guy that they had on the Bulwark that is a reporter that lives out in that area, but he was saying that because they're building the fence on the U.S. side of the border, so they're cutting off the Rio Grande, which is a water source for cattle and all kinds of stuff, and they're cutting that off and ceding land to Mexico, basically.
Yeah.
Like now, technically, I guess Mexico has the river and a couple feet past the river, and they calculated it out. It was like 580,000 acres that we're pretty much giving to Mexico now, and we're giving up total rights to the Rio Grande. Like, in what world does that make sense? Well, whatever.
0 cents.
And also, real quick, in Big Bend, the number, and I think I guessed at it last time, but it's 0.045% of illegal immigration comes across Big Bend. So less than half of a percent. And the people that come across there, we normally find like almost dead due to lack of water and heat and like capture them immediately. Like nobody's making it through Big Bend and then moving on to Chicago. Like that ain't happening.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's stupid. It's dumb. I'm fed up with it. I don't know
Yeah.
what to do about it. I feel helpless and I don't know. I just want to go blow that fucking bulldozer up right now.
You should make a deal with some like environmentalist Republicans, the ones that like to go outside, and tell them that if they join up to try to protect these lands, that you will not steal their air conditioning or their factory. Like there's a deal to be had here, Docs.
Yeah.
It seems like this is kind of like the universal background checks for guns. Like when they poll it, like 80% of people are for that, yet the government won't do it. Like when it comes to like, do we want to build a wall through Big Ben and cut off the Rio Grande from American use? I feel like that would be like 90% of America would say they're against that. But at the same time, it doesn't matter. Like they're going to do this. There's nothing
Well,
that's going to
no,
stop this.
you just have a bunch of dummies up north that have never been to Big Ben, and they all they care about is the border, right? They're like, oh yeah, build a wall, man. That's all they care about. They don't see these photos. They don't see what's going on. They don't care about the wildlife that's going to die because they can't get access to water. It- I don't know. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of like I almost wish like Neuralink was here and we could just transmit all this information to these people's brains.
Yeah. Good luck with that, buddy.
Yeah, man. That's all I got on that. It
Okay.
pisses me off.
Sorry.
I don't, and I'm guessing that's all. That's what Trump wants.
He's trying to
Just
upset. That's the thing is
my liberal ass off.
I would think because like there's certain groups of people in America that like he's trying to inflict pain on certain groups, but like the environmental people like that a lot of conservatives like to fish and hunt and use public lands. So I don't think it's that. I think there's money to be made somehow, some way. And like the company that's building the border wall in the Big Bend area, it was a no bid contract, and I can't. They're paying it was like 2 million per mile for the fence, like an outrageous price. Like it should never be that high. But somebody's getting money on the back. Like, I guarantee you it's more money driven than like he's trying to stick it to the liberals by building a fence. No, this is upsetting Republicans. And like in Texas right now, Tallarico is really gaining with Hispanics. He's still doing terrible with African Americans, but he is gaining with Hispanics. And I got to believe stuff like this is part of the reason. The whole Rio Grande Valley over there, that western side of the state, heavily Hispanic and not down with this at all. So he's digging his own grave.
Why is he doing so bad with African Americans?
Tallarico, it's because of Jasmine Crockett. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. Yeah, if she would just show up and rally with him a little bit, it could fix a lot, but she won't, and I'm very not happy with Jasmine Crockett right now. But
come on, Jasmine.
Yeah. But real quick, back to Trump. Like, this is angering. Like, if they lose the Senate seat in Texas, that's terrible for him in the last 2 years of his term. Like, he can't afford to lose the Senate, and he's acting like he doesn't care at all. What's crazy is 2 points on this. One, we've all been worried that he might try to monkey around with the midterms a little bit, and it seems like we're kind of getting so close that it's part of me is starting to feel a sigh of relief. Because it's like, okay, he can't try to implement something now, right? Like, it's too late. Like, we could never change the system or change the rules in the short amount of time we have left, so we're good, right? He went on a show this morning, and this scared me. I wanted you to hear this.
A lot of people get it.
So let me put an idea in your head, okay? Because it's so hard to get the Senate to do anything. Now they're on recess. They don't get anything done if they never get the Save America Act done. You have the right to declare a national security emergency for elections. And the Supreme Court ruled in 1983 under Reagan that INS versus Chadha, that if you declare a national security emergency as the President of the United States, they can't challenge it. It can only be overturned by a 2/3 vote of both houses of Congress. So if you do this in the next month, we will get photo ID, proof of citizenship, and a limit to mail-in ballots. And
Let
you
me
don't
just say
even
that
need
stranger
the
things
Senate
have
vote.
happened. Okay, I'll leave it at that.
All right, we'll leave it at that. So let me finish.
I didn't understand what he said the last.
He said, let me just say this, stranger things have happened. So he didn't rule it out, and it's like if he's going to do it, he doesn't want to say he's going to do it. But like that guy had thought that out. That's scary because if he does that and only a 2/3 vote of the Senate and there's no way the Democrats could get 2/3 to swat that down. So if he does that, according to that news anchor on what was that? That wasn't Newsmax. That was like Real America's Voice or whatever it was. Yeah, but like if that, I don't know the functions of how this works. But if what that guy just said is true and Trump does that here in 2 or 3 weeks and the only way to stop it is a 2/3 vote, he's gonna get away with it, and then the midterms look completely different. Like, is that the play? I don't know. The way he said, "Let me just say this: stranger things have happened," and he didn't. It's almost like he didn't want to talk about it too much, which scares the heck out of me. Meaning, like, oh, don't worry, we're cooking stuff up. Like that's the way I interpreted that.
Yeah.
That worries me.
That's crazy.
And then, even if something happens and he does lose the House and the Senate and the Dems get oversight control of the House, like the first thing they're going to do is they're going to make life a living hell for a lot of people outside the White House. Mark Zuckerberg, Bezos, Elon Musk, like the tech bros are going to get hauled in front of Congress and have to tell about all these deals that were made. Well, Todd Blanche, by the way, I don't know if you saw Todd Blanche.
But hold on, they don't have to tell anything because anybody that goes in front of Congress these days just says, I plead the fifth, or they dance around the question. They don't answer the questions anymore. It's kind of a joke.
So rarely do they play. Fauci just pled the fifth. Before that, I don't know who pled the fifth before that. It's been a while since anybody. Am I wrong?
They basically plead the fifth by not answering the question.
Yeah, they dance. They try to get in fights and all that. I get it. But Todd Blanche got confirmed by the Senate the other night at 4 a.m, which that's how you always know that they're ashamed of something they're doing. At 4 a.m. vote confirmed him. But his first day on the job, he signed a new memo, which a Department of Justice memo is basically policy at that point. This is from Jake Sherman at Punchbowl News. Breaking news. DOJ. I'm going to start all over. Breaking news. DOJ Office of Legal Counsel has issued an opinion that would allow the president to claim executive privilege over communications between him and private advisors. Extends to direct advisors, communications with outsiders. So he right now, anybody that works in his cabinet can claim executive privilege, and the theory behind that is the president should have the ability to bounce things off of his advisors. We're just spitballing back and forth, and he's not really going to do any of this. We're just talking. He should have that luxury to be able to do that without Congress getting involved. But this doesn't apply to anybody outside of his staff and advisors and White House. Now, according to Todd Blanche, it extends to basically anybody the president talks to. This is the actual thing. Breaking news. A Justice Department Office Legal Counsel memo released Monday says the president can assert executive privilege over communications with private advisors so long as they relate to the official president decision making, involve or reflect communications with the president or his direct advisors, and are confidential. The OLC opinion extends that shield to the president's direct advisors' communications with private citizens too. So his advisors' communications with citizens also are covered under executive privilege. No way that should be allowed. That would let any president, including President Donald Trump, wall off a broad swath of communication from congressional scrutiny. It lands as Democrats look to increasingly likely win back the House and subpoena power. So basically, that memo right there made it to where, like, okay, yeah, you can try to call anybody in you want to talk about what's going on with Trump, and they can all just say executive privilege, and that's that. Is there any way to stop that? I don't know. Like, that basically nullifies any oversight that Congress could possibly do going forward. Like, this doesn't just apply to Trump. This is just going forward. The president, and the key part, the president and his advisors, if they talk to anybody, they can claim executive privilege over that conversation.
Our system has been going downhill for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think that if some of this stuff happens, like, I mean, it's just toast.
Well, and to stop you real quick, if this happens, this already happened. Like, this happened. This is how we're doing it moving forward.
Yeah, but is that really like, I mean, is that law now?
So it's the Department of Justice. If they issue a memo, that is their policy. That is how they do things. It's not as good as a law, but it's almost as good as a law. And now you could say, oh, well, what if President AOC wins in 2028 or Gavin Newsom or John Ossoff, whatever? What if they win? Well, at that point, this is just how it goes in history. I'll bet the new attorney general just kind of leaves that there. I'm not going to mess with that because now they don't want to have oversight. So if you think any president's going to remove that or direct his attorney general to remove it so that now Congress can crawl up their butt, you're wrong. Like, that is how we're doing things moving forward, sir. That's the new way America runs. The president.
So democracy is dead. Donald Trump killed democracy in the United States.
1,000 cuts, and that was a big one right there. But yeah, it's death by 1,000 cuts.
Well, we'll see in the midterms if we'll see after the midterms, I guess, if democracy is dead or not, because it really looks like it's dead.
Yeah.
It just hasn't been put to the test yet.
A year and a half ago, when I kept telling you, I was like, no, he's not an authoritarian. He's not a fascist. Until we don't have free and fair elections, I'm not going to call him that. Like, I'm really worried at this point about our elections coming up and whether or not they're going to be free and fair. And I'm starting to think that I'm going to be having to use the authoritarian word or the fascist word. Like, that's kind of where it's pointing that direction.
I called him a fascist and authoritarian because that's what he is. He just hasn't been able to successfily do it yet, right?
He's trying.
He is a fascist and he is an authoritarian. He just didn't have the power. He's been, and like you said, 1,000 cuts, and he's cutting. And
so, and I think we talked about this once, but I looked it up because I didn't know the difference between an authoritarian or a fascist. I think the right way to say it is that Donald Trump is becoming an authoritarian, and the MAGA movement has fascist tendencies, but they're not quite fascism. There's the nationalistic side of things screams fascism, but what Donald Trump is doing is more authoritarian. Like, I think that's the right word for him. We looked it up at one point. I think that's where we landed.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, definitely heading that way, man. So, and then just because I want to shit on Trump just a little bit more before we go, Donald Trump was in the Oval Office the other day talking about immigration. First of all, just for fun, the State Department, run by Marco Rubio, has, let me see here. Last month, the United States accepted just 2,500 people into the refugee program. Every one of them was a white person from South Africa. So far this fiscal year, 99.96% of the refugees the administration have taken have been white people from South Africa. The others, 3 in total, were from Afghanistan, and Trump later revoked their status. So, of all the refugees we've let in this year, only 3 of them were not white South Africans, and those 3 later had their status revoked and were kicked out of the country. So we're only this year, the only refugees to come in have been white South Africa. They're called Afrikaners, I believe is the name. That's the only people we're letting in. Remember when Trump said in his first term that, why are we taking all these people from all these shithole countries? He denied it at the time. They said that's a lie. He didn't say that, but now he goes on stage and openly says that he said that. So he's not denying it anymore. He was talking about the different refugees we let in, and this clip, we take for granted how racist he can be at times and how racist the movement behind him can be. I want you to watch this clip because I think everybody should take a breath and watch this and realize where we're at right now.
These are people that have been not successful. They're people that have been, in many cases, failures. They come from other failed countries, and they come here and they tell us how to run our country. They come from places like, I won't mention because I don't want to get myself into a controversy, but they come from countries that are not great. They come from, let's say, as an example, Somalia. They come in and then they tell us how our Constitution, how our Declaration of Independence, how it works. It doesn't work that way, and they're not smart. They have no aptitude. They have nothing going, and they're telling us how to run our country. And I just don't think it's going to happen. I think that they start off, now I may be wrong, but...
Can you just say Somalians aren't smart?
They're not smart. They have no aptitude and they have nothing going. And he hates that they try to tell him what the Constitution says. The reason he hates it is because they're right constantly. He tries to do stuff that is flatly against our Constitution. And someone like Ilhan Omar will point out that, hey, that's not what the Constitution says. And they're right. That's what pisses him off is they know the Constitution better than he does. I think we're all just almost that's baked in right now. We know he's racist, move on. But no, this this is very awkward. This is a weird place our country's in right now. And
how do we remove him from office?
Well, impeachment, but that's never going to happen. I don't know. We're pretty screwed for another 2.5 years.
I mean, at some point, the people are going to break, right? And there's going to be a revolt.
I think 30. I think Trump's polling right now is between 32 and 38%. So let's split the difference, say 35%. 35% of the country is, if they haven't abandoned him by now, they're not gonna. I was talking to a buddy the other day. I felt so bad about this, but he was like, "Hey, you don't really bring up politics with me anymore." He voted for Trump. He's one of those that's like, I like Trump, but I don't really follow politics. But I think he does, and he just acts like he doesn't. But I told him, and I'm gonna see if I can get this right. I was proud of myself because I nailed it on the spot. But I told him, I said, I don't see the point in wasting my breath talking to people that voted for Trump these days about politics, because it's always one of 3 things that this person is. Either they're still fully on board the Trump train, nothing they've seen so far is gonna make them drop their support, and at that point, it's a waste. If they haven't jumped off by now, it's a waste of time. Or they're a Trump voter that realizes they screwed up. They realizes that he lied, and they're sad. They're regretting it. And I don't want to twist the knife, so I don't want to bring it up because I can tell you're in pain and distraught over what happened. Or the most annoying type is the kind that had so much to say in the lead up to the election, when it was Kamala versus Biden, when it was Kamala versus Trump or Biden versus Trump, and they were talking all this, and then in those first couple months after Trump win, they had so much to say, and all of a sudden now they're like, yeah, I don't really follow politics, I don't know what's going on. Oh, screw you, buddy. That's where we're at right now, and I think that 2/3 of the Republican Party is willing to admit a mistake here, and then there's that 35% that either they're pretending they got their head in the sand and they're pretending I don't know what's going on. Are things bad? I haven't heard. Or they're fully on board and they think Trump was chosen by Jesus to save our country from the evil Democrats. And those people aren't going anywhere. Those people are staying on the Trump train. So even the ones with the head in the sand would go back and vote for Trump tomorrow if they could, but they don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, and yeah, you're right. They would still vote for him because they're not going to vote for a Democrat.
Yep.
There's a lot of those people. I will never vote for a Democrat. It's okay. I'm fully embracing the socialist Democrat.
So
movement.
here's the thing. I'm willing. Like, I think that it's healthy for each party, right and left, to have an extreme side and a moderate side, and that's they all have to work together. So yeah, give me a little bit of socialist on the left, but I don't want them to fully take over the left right now. I'm open to it later. Let's see what Mom Donnie seems to be doing in New York. Like, a lot of people, even Republicans, are admitting like he's fixing some things. Like, there's some things that should have been fixed a long time ago that he's fixing. He's somehow balanced the budget. It seems to be going well. So I almost would rather have some socialist mayors so we could see little experiments in little cities around the country and how it goes. And if it goes well, then let's roll it out on a broader scale. But let's test it in a few test markets first. So I don't have a problem with it. But like,
I don't know. I'm ready for everybody to get free healthcare and free education.
that's the thing is, like, to me, like, it's weird where the lines are drawn, and we've talked about, like, with schools, the greatest example. But like, at some point we all decided that K through 12 we're going to do socialism. Everybody pays property taxes. Your kid gets to go to school for free. It comes out of the property taxes, but that's fine. But if you dare suggest that college should be free, that's socialism. And it's like, well, hold on, wait. The first 12 grades can be socialist, but if the next four are, that's you crossed a line there, buddy. And like,
Yeah.
what? So I don't know. It's
Well,
really
they're trying
weird.
to take away the free K through 12.
They
as
are.
well.
But apparently, that was too much for them. We're going to private Christian schools now.
Yeah.
So
Well, and the system is kind of messed up too because like it's the money's not equally distributed. Like the inner city kids seem to
yeah,
get the shaft as opposed to like the suburbs, the rich areas. Like people choose their neighborhood where they want to live because it's in a good school district, right?
yep, yeah,
So
and
it's
that's and
kind of
that's there's got to be a fix to that. I don't know what that fix would be, but if you did fix that, if you suddenly threw all the money from each state into one big pot and then divided it equally among all the schools, that would be the fair thing to do. But then what that would do is it would drive down property value in rich areas because people are their house has more value because it's in this good school district. And you know who tends to show up to vote more than anybody? Rich people. It's just the way it is. Rich white people show up to vote. So if you were to do that, if Texas were to do that tomorrow, they would piss off a huge part of the people that actually show up to vote in elections. I know this is really broad, simplistic way of looking at it, but that's the reason it will never happen, just so you know.
yeah. Well, yeah, it's power and money. And yeah, and I think what they should do is basically per kid, you get a certain amount of dollars per kid, right? That you have in your school.
Okay, in your public school. What you were describing at first for a second there sounded like a voucher program, which is what Republicans, every kid gets this amount of money and they get to choose where they go to. Like, it
No,
sounded like
it's still a social program, but the school
yeah.
per kid they get X amount of
Yes.
dollars. That way they have enough money to have, instead of having a
Yeah.
30 or 40 student class, they can have a 20 student class, which
I agree with you, but I really, for a second there, I thought you were about to describe the voucher program, and I was like, no. Sorry. Okay, yeah, I agree with you. Anyhow, so that's where we're at.
I think the opportunity to have private schools is probably good. Like I don't want to do away with private schools.
If you have the money to send your kid to a private school, then by all means send your kid to a private school. What happens though is that most of the people that go to private schools, and I can only speak for Texas and Oklahoma. Those are the two states I know. But like my kid knows one of her teams she plays on is full of private school kids, and I've talked to all the parents there. All of them they have to. There's a certain day every summer where they have to get online and sign up to get in the lottery for a voucher, and they all end up getting the vouchers. And the vouchers cover almost all of that private school tuition. Like they have to pay a little bit, but 90% of it's covered by this. And that voucher money came out of the public school slush fund, basically. So the public schools are getting funded less to allow for these vouchers for kids to go to private schools, and that's where I have a problem with it. It's taking away from public schools to send kids. And what they found is that in like 94% of the cases, the kids that are getting these vouchers, like their parents can afford private school, and they were going to private school one way or another. Like Texas and Oklahoma always try to frame it as, oh, we're doing these vouchers to help the kid doesn't have as much as an advantage. We're trying to help him go to private school. That's never who gets the vouchers. So
No.
anyhow,
Yeah, you should have to like qualify for vouchers.
agreed.
Like your family income should be a qualifying for the vouchers, if that's the case.
Agreed.
And
Yeah,
I do things so fucking backwards in this country. I mean, and it all leads to money, right? You follow the money, and that's why we do things backwards.
Yep.
It's just messed up.
Okay. I got one video.
Capitalism, bro.
I got one video I want to end on because maybe it'll just make you giggle a little bit, make you feel a little bit better because we're both down.
I'm on a giggling mood, Andy.
I'm sorry. This was on the 5, and the 5 on Fox normally has Jessica Tarlov on, but when she's not there, there's a guy that fills in for her named Harold. I don't know his last name. I believe he's African American, but he's kind of a light-skinned dude. But he was having a blast on the 5 day. Normally, if the Democrat tries to speak up and say anything, they all talk over him and shout him down. And he dominated the 5 day of the day. Just watch this little clip, and you can tell between him and Gutfield who was having fun.
All right.
I learned
Ahead.
something from this. You're telling me that President Trump had nothing to do with the prices going up or the wars we're getting into?
Which prices?
The American gas, and everything.
Well, gas.
It was much higher under Biden.
It was much lower under Clinton. I mean, it's
Plus,
like.
the taxes on gas didn't help before that. Look
Do
at
you agree with
California.
President Trump? We should go after the oil companies and take their profits from them, like he said last week?
I
We go to
missed
commercial
that
break.
story. Honestly,
I was with
want to
you
go to
when we had-
break, Harold. Jeez. He wants to start a new conversation.
feisty.
What is with Harold today? Got all this energy.
Ate
Must have had a
steak
lot
over
of
the
fun this
weekend.
weekend.
I ate steak over the weekend.
Harold Maxing.
He was dominating them the whole show. It was fun to watch.
Okay, so that was just a little clip of it.
Yeah, it was just a little clip, but you can tell by the energy. He was laughing. He was having. Gutfield didn't even shoot back. Gutfield was just like, can we go to commercial? Like he was.
Did she say gas prices were higher under Biden?
That's what the lady in the middle. I can't remember what is her name. Sandra Smith, whatever her name is.
That's not true, right? I don't remember.
In 2022, they were higher than they are now. But when Biden left office, they were back down to $2.70 a gallon, something like that.
Okay.
In 2022 was when the COVID era was ending, and everything spiked at that point. And there was a point where the national average gas was like $5.08 a gallon for like a 2 or 3 month stretch. Yeah, that was in 22.
Yeah. Okay. I vaguely remember like 4 something.
Yeah. So
4
anyhow, so at least the Democrat on the 5 is having fun right now. That's all I'll say. So, all right, let's get out of here. But hopefully we'll have something to laugh about next time.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Later, brother. Have a good night.
Peace, like, subscribe, shop local, tax the rich, free healthcare, free education. Let's go, social democrats.
Don't steal my factory or air conditioning. Have a good night.
Sometimes you eat the bar, sometimes the bar eats you.